Here comes Two Eyes with the frat boy. In that raspy voice that only 2 packs of Reds each day and New England winters can put on a man of barely 30, he brazenly surveys the table. Anybody else? I'm 7 and owe this month. You see, Two Eyes, who stands about 5 foot nothing and weighs about $1.20, just molly-whopped this 6'2" ex-footballer, and the frat boy didn't even see it coming. Two Eyes reaches behind my stack, grabs the $300 and slips it into his pocket without a word. Then he heads back to his seat, picks up 3 red chips, his smokes and his lighter. He flips 1 chip my way. Thanks for keeping the money safe. Then he spins around and shouts, "Red birds for the boys." Tosses a chip to the chard at the next table, who's busy scooping in a big pot, and wings the last one halfway across the room to Bigfoot. I've been told the house always wins. I have spent more than 2 decades proving this to be less than accurate. My name doesn't matter. My clan knows who I am. What does matter is this: I have sat across the table from the most interesting, unhinged, and sometimes even dangerous people this world has ever produced. In Las Vegas, Reno, Atlantic City, Shreveport, Tunica, Battle Creek, Ledyard, Red Wing, and countless other swill-hole casino towns, from back rooms to presidential suites, from gas stations to all-inclusive resorts. I've seen it all. And I've done it all, on the felt. Oh, the felt. That green expanse where fortunes change hands by the flip of a card, the toss of the dice. The Copenhagen interpretation says, each time this happens, a whole new universe is created. Well, Schrödinger, I've got a few quantum humdingers for you. I am a professional gambler, have been since before some of you were born. Not the fake, romantic Hollywood version, the real sleep-in-your-car version, the version that requires patience, mathematics, and a constitution that most people don't possess. But this isn't a show about gambling strategy. This is a show about the characters. The plumber, the nose, the kid, the ones who got rich with me, the ones who went broke with me, the ones who robbed me, and those who simply crossed my path. Every week, I'll reach into the vault, dust off a rack of chips, and pull out another mostly true tale. Grab a deck of cards. Make yourself comfortable. Folklore from the Felt begins now. I nearly forgot. Gambling is just one long session. But we can't just jump right in the middle of this one. Another Friday night had gotten into swing. It was wild back then. 100+ tables of live poker in the biggest poker room in the world. Not just 100 tables, but often several hundred players on the waiting list as well. I'd been there since 2 in the afternoon, and it was around 8 or 8:30 when a new player sat down. I tried to keep good habits back then. Size up the table. Yeah, it was just one new guy at a 10-seat table, but you can never be too diligent. Seat 1, middle-aged nobody. I've played with him a couple of times. Straightforward, not tricky. Seat 2, his friend. Likes to bluff. His money is as good as dead. Seat 3, that guy I recognize. I've seen him around with Bigfoot and the Chard during smoke breaks. very capable of anything, and usually has a big stack. Seat 4, the frat boy. 6 to 8 years removed from college, a little drunk and splashy, but not an idiot. Seat 5, preppy college kid, some sort of trust fund in his near future. The prepster. I'd already started calling him GQ in my head. Seat 6, that's me. Seats 7 through 10, middle-aged passive players. That's exactly why they're on my left. A few hands go by. I keep folding. I'm protecting my 300 or so win and just looking for easy spots. Then a hand comes up that gets my attention. 2 eyes, the reg in seat 3 raises from under the gun. Seat 4 folds, then GQ in seat 5 calls. Everybody else folds, except for the big blind, who comes along as well. 3 players to a flop of 8, 7, 3, 2 diamonds. Big blind checks. 2 eyes c-bets $30, and GQ thinks for about 3 seconds before declaring all in. Big blind folds, and 2 eyes says, "I guess we're coin flipping." And before he finishes the sentence, his chips are in the middle and his cards are face up. 9-10 of diamonds. He has 4 to a straight and 4 to a flush. GQ turns over 2 black aces. It's not a true coin flip. 2 eyes has a meaningful advantage, about 56% to 44. The turn is a black 3. River, 5 of diamonds. 2 eyes made his flush. 2 eyes stacks the pot. I never lose a coin flip. He flexed his bicep and kissed it. In fact, this month I'm 6, and in actual coin flips. If anybody wants some action, I'm hot tonight. Max bet 500. He let that sink in. You flip your coin, I'll call it in the air. You gotta throw it high. I need time to call it. I'll give you 2 to 1 odds. But I gotta warn you, I'm really lucky this month. Oh, one more thing. If you lose, there's no chasing your money. I'll only flip once against any one person. That's how luck works. My brain is spinning. Here's a guy who's in this poker room as much as I am, maybe 50, 60 hours a week, and he's offering 2 to 1 odds. It doesn't add up. It's your coin, you flip it. Not even a magician could make it land how he wants. I'm so tempted to take the bet, but something doesn't smell right. Before I can finish the thought, the frat boy chimes in. I got a quarter. How's 100 sound? My 100 versus your 200. Before I can even figure out what's happening, these 2 strangers are handing me $300. 200 from 2 eyes and 100 from the frat boy. Hold on to this. We'll be right back. And just like that, they disappear. I want to go see the coin flip, but I know a short-handed table is good for me. Besides, why am I even holding this money? The dealer recognized me and offered some input. They can't do it here. They're going to the race book. The casino frowns on side bets, plus the ceilings are higher. The barrage of questions slows our game to a crawl. Everybody is asking the dealer at once. How's it work? What's the angle? I don't know, the dealer says. He's just lucky, and he makes it impossible to cheat. The full rules: 1, you use your own quarter. 2, toss it high. He likes to call it near the top of the arc. 3, nobody catches it. You let it hit the floor. I guess he wants to cover all his bases. Then, without prompting, the dealer adds, he got me for 200 a couple of months ago. It's a shame he won't let you run it back. Here comes Two Eyes with the frat boy. In that raspy voice that only 2 packs of Reds each day and New England winters can put on a man of barely 30, he brazenly surveys the table. Anybody else? I'm 7 and owe this month. You see, Two Eyes, who stands about 5 foot nothing and weighs about $1.20, just molly-whopped this 6'2" ex-footballer, and the frat boy didn't even see it coming. Two Eyes reaches behind my stack, grabs the $300 and slips it into his pocket without a word. Then he heads back to his seat, picks up 3 red chips, his smokes, and his lighter. He flips 1 chip my way. Thanks for keeping the money safe. Then he spins around and shouts, "Red birds for the boys." Tosses a chip to the chard at the next table, who's busy scooping in a big pot, and wings the last one halfway across the room to Bigfoot. Two Eyes and the chard aren't even halfway to the stairs when the frat boy is already scheming. Hey, listen, he won't let me bet him again. So if anybody will do it for me, I'll give them $20. One of the middle-aged guys snap calls. I'll do it. All right, max bet is $500, so I need room in case I lose again. We're going $300 this time. If I lose, I'll be down $400. Then we hit him for 5 on the next try. He's offering 2 to 1, so we get it all back and then some. The middle-aged guy nods. Should I wait a while after he comes back? No, says the frat boy. Do it right away. He opens his wallet and peels out 3 beer-stained $100 bills. What about my 20? The middle-aged guy asks. Oh yeah, says the frat boy and hands it over. Two Eyes comes back from his smoke break, and the middle-aged guy wastes no time. Hey, you up for another flip? Sure. How much? How's 300 sound? Okay. Your 3 and my 5. Wait, the frat boy interjects. I thought you said 2 to 1. Two Eyes glances at the frat boy, then back to the middle-aged guy. Okay. You're 3 to my 6. The middle-aged guy nods at the frat boy. The frat boy nods back, and I think to myself, I just made another $5. You got a quarter? The middle-aged guy pats his pockets. No. Here, use mine, says the frat boy, reaching into his pocket. Two Eyes spun around. No. What are you? Crazy? I already told you. Luck doesn't work that way. The middle-aged guy thinks for a second. My wife's got a quarter. She's playing slots. I'll go get one. The dealer speaks up. Here, buddy. You've been tipping me all night. Here's a quarter. It's yours now. He looks at Two Eyes. Does that work? Two Eyes considers it. Well, yeah, it's his quarter now. As they make their way toward the race book, we hear the instructions one more time. Throw it really high. Let it land on the floor. No interference. And if you lose, he caught himself. When you lose, no chasing your money. Got it? When they came back, we didn't even have to ask. I am unstoppable. 8-0. He let that land. I better not push it. My record is 9 in 1 month, but that was a couple of years ago. While they were gone, the frat boy had already been busy. Trust fund kid now had $500 of frat boy's money sitting in front of him, waiting. Everybody at the table knew the deal. GQ leaned back. It's probably a lot of money for you, but I'll do 500 if you actually have the 1,000 to put up. Two Eyes smiled. Well, he's holding 9 right now, he said, pointing at me. And I've got another 7 in my stack. The dealer didn't miss a beat. You can't take money out of your stack, sir. A pause. Except for tips, of course. He reached over and grabbed the 900 from me without a word. Then it started raining red birds. 2 for me, 2 for the chard, 2 for Bigfoot, and even 2 for the dealer. The same man he had taken 200 off of a couple of months ago, and who had just called him Sir. Red birds for the boys. Then the chard reached over and handed him 100. Don't lose it, you sicko. Two Eyes grinned. It's a coin flip. I never lose a coin flip. GQ's was already getting up from his seat. You ready? No. Two Eyes settled back into his chair. I gotta play a couple of hands first. You're away from the table too long. They pick up your chips and you go back on the list. As fate would have it, the very next hand was where he got his name. He missed his blinds a couple of times during all the smoke break and coin flip madness, but now he was under the gun, first to act after the blinds. Back then at Foxwoods, instead of posting missed blinds, you could straddle your way back in. The prepster calls, I fold, and just about everybody else and their sister calls too. Now Two Eyes has an option. There are 6, maybe 7 players in for $5 each. The max buy-in back then was 100. Two Eyes raises to 100. Only GQ calls. The flop comes King, Queen, 6. Two Eyes bets 100. GQ calls. The turn is a 7. Another 100. Another call. The river. A 4. Two Eyes checks. GQ thinks for about 30 seconds. I'm all in. That is sick. I have this. He turned over 2 red kings, face up for everyone to see, watching GQ's face the whole time, and folded. Nice fold, said GQ. And for a literal split second, he flashed his cards. If you were staring straight at them, you would have been lucky to catch even the color of one. That's when Two Eyes earned his name. I am physically sick, he said. Then he turned to GQ and to the table. You called $100 before the flop with the 8 of clubs and the 5 of diamonds. 8, 5, off suit. Then the flop comes King, Queen, 6. And you called another 100 with that? He shook his head. Runner, runner straight. I am physically sick. GQ said nothing. In that split second, two eyes had seen both cards, rank and suit. He actually has a superpower. He's a savant. And I figured out the coin flip hustle. He clocks the coin mid-air, does the calculation in that split second, and figures out exactly how it's going to land. But that's not how it works at all. Thank you for listening. The story continues in episode 1B. Make sure to follow, share, and tell a friend. This has been Folklore from the Felt.